Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Buddhist Temple of Toledo. Please be seated and turn in your liturgy books to page 2. Gata of Atonement. All evil karma ever committed by me since on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thought. Now I atone for it all evil karma ever committed by me since of old, on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thought. Now I atone for it all evil karma ever committed by me since of old, on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thought. Now I atone for it all. Nikaya 3 Refuges. Buddham Saranam Gacchami. Buddham Saranam Gacchami. Dhammam Saranam Gacchami. Dhammam Saranam Gacchami. Sangham Saranam gacchami. Sangam saranam gacchami. I take refuge in Buddha. I take refuge in Buddha. I take refuge in Dharma. I take refuge in Dharma. I take refuge in Sangha. I take refuge in Sangha. The 5 remembrances. I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature of change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My deeds are my closest companions. I am the beneficiary of my deeds. My deeds are the ground on which I stand. I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature of change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My deeds are my closest companions. I am the beneficiary of my deeds. My deeds are the ground on which I stand. I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature of change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My deeds are my closest companions. I am the beneficiary of my deeds. My deeds are the ground on which I stand. This precious human life, rarely encountered, is easily lost. Now that I have life and opportunity, may I practice the Dharma wholeheartedly. Mahayana refuge. In my heart, I take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. May I liberate suffering beings and bring them to great joy. May the compassionate spirit of love grow within me, that I may actualize the great way. In my heart, I take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. May I liberate suffering beings and bring them to great joy. May the compassionate spirit of love grow within me, that I may actualize the great way. In my heart, I take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. May I liberate suffering beings and bring them to great joy. May the compassionate spirit of love grow within me, that I may actualize the great way. Invocation of the lineage. I give thanks for the guidance of my teachers, for the lineage of teachers before them. I give thanks and offerings for their devoted practice of generosity, moral discipline, patience, joyful effort, concentration, wisdom, skillful means, unshakable vow, spiritual powers, and awakened awareness for my benefit. May their years of life be lengthened, may their vows be completely realized, and may I cultivate these perfections with their guidance. 7 practices of the Bodhisattva. I bow down in body, speech, and mind. I offer the best I have to give, both real and imagined, to fill the space between us. I regret and purify all transgressions. I rejoice in all virtues. I request you to remain until total enlightenment. I request wise and compassionate guidance. I dedicate my merit for the sake of all beings. Generating love and compassion. May all sentient beings be free from clinging and hatred. Being close to some and distant from others, how wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will free them from clinging and hatred. Bless me to accomplish this. May all sentient beings enjoy happiness and the causes of happiness. How wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will bring them happiness and the causes of happiness. Bless me to accomplish this. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. How wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will free them from suffering and the causes of suffering. Bless me to accomplish this. May all sentient beings have the joy that has never known suffering. May they be free from clinging, hatred, jealousy, miserliness, doubt, pride, wrong view, ignorance, and dualistic thoughts. How wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will bring them to this state. Bless me to accomplish this. Please stand for the Heart Sutra. Great Prajna Paramita Heart Sutra. Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva, practicing deep Prajna Paramita, clearly saw that all 5 skandhas are empty, transforming all suffering and distress. Shariputra, form is no other than emptiness, emptiness no other than form, form is exactly emptiness, emptiness exactly form, sensation, perception, mental reaction, consciousness are also like this. Shariputra, all things are essentially empty, not born, not destroyed, not stained, not pure, without loss, without gain. Therefore, in emptiness there is no form, no sensation, perception, mental reaction, consciousness, no eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, no color, sound, smell, taste, touch, object of thought, no seeing, and so on, to no thinking, no ignorance, and also no ending of ignorance, and so on, to no old age and death, and also no ending of old age and death, no suffering, cause of suffering, cessation path, no wisdom, and no attainment, since there is nothing to attain. The Bodhisattva lives by prajna paramita, with no hindrance in the mind, no hindrance, and therefore no fear, far beyond delusive thinking. Right here is nirvana. All Buddhas of past, present, and future live by prajna paramita, attaining anuttara samyak sambodhi. Therefore know that prajna paramita is the great sacred mantra, the great vivid mantra, the unsurpassed mantra, the supreme mantra, which completely removes all suffering. This is truth, not mere formality. Therefore set forth the prajna paramita mantra. Set forth this mantra and proclaim gate gate para gate parsam gate bodhisvaha gate gate para gate parsam gate bodhisvaha gate gate para gate parsam gate bodhisvaha. Infinite realms of light and dark convey the Buddha mind. All that is and we ourselves come forth in perfect harmony. We offer this sincere and devoted practice for the many beings of the 6 worlds and dedicate it in grateful thanks to the strength and sound practice of the great Heartland Sangha and its teachers. May our virtuous actions be clear from all interferences, and may our vows be fully realized. We especially dedicate these merits to all those who suffer as a result of injustices, calamity, cruelty, and war, and to Bruce, Kaijin, Stephen, Sister Suzette, Charles, Reverend Eugen, Roger, and Anna. May they have peace and healing. And to Laverne, Bill, Sean, Jim, Marie, John, and Gabby at the time of their deaths, and to those we hold in the silence of our hearts, as well as those whose names we now voice aloud. May we live in perfect peace with Buddha Dharma, and may we realize the Buddha way together. Throughout space and time, all on earth Mahasattvas, wisdom beyond wisdom, Mahaprajna Paramita. Thank you, everyone. Dharma school students and teachers may leave the zendo, and everyone else, please prepare for Zazen. We will now recite the Sangha Covenant, which you can find in your liturgy book on page 8. We, the Daishin Kokuji Sangha, with respect for the worth and dignity of each person, with wonder at the wisdom and compassion we seek to cultivate by practice, and with deep gratitude for the teachers of this lineage and our connection to one another, covenant to support each other by upholding the precepts of doing no harm, practicing good, and actualizing good for others. Please be seated comfortably so that you can make eye contact with the teacher. And when the teacher is ready, we will recite Gatha on opening the sutra, also found on page 8.
I need them to tuck me in. For the drinks, let's maybe have you come around to this side and place it here.
Gatha on opening the sutra. The Dharma incomparably profound and infinitely so is the Tathagata's true meaning.
Thank you very much, everybody, for choosing to be here and to practice. If we're not lined up conveniently, please feel free to move yourself around so that we can see each other. I have a PowerPoint.
Did you do?
This may hopefully look familiar to you. It greets you every time you come in and put your shoes in the vestibule area there. This is a traditional image you'd find in most Mahayana Buddhist temples or monasteries. And it's typically right at the entrance outside. This is the family business. Let's make no mistake about it. This is what's going on. And of course, like much iconography, if you don't know how to decode it, it's just a little bizarre, you know, or a little interesting, maybe esoteric looking. But if you learn to read it or to understand it, you find in it a very compact, portable explication of the entirety of the Buddha Dharma, right there. And so this image has survived centuries. In fact, 2,600 years. Hey, Eric, nice to see you. It has survived a very, very long time. And even modern scholarship, everyone that I've studied or looked at, the consensus is that this is probably directly traceable to Shakyamuni himself. There's a lot that we can't say that with as much certainty, but this teaching seems to be, to most critical eyes, objective scholarly eyes, like, yeah, this is probably near certain. So, what's going on here, and why is this powerful point sitting here? Well, the first thing is to realize the main character that you see here, this fearsome entity, this is Yama. The proper title, Darth Yama. And Yama is the god, the lord, really, of death. So in most of our Western cultures, the Grim Reaper kind of character. Okay, that's the sickle kind of character. This is Yama, death. Okay, and so it represents, well, it is in fact you staring into your death. That's what this is trying to communicate. Okay, and there's a lot of skulls. I like skulls and cool. It's cool stuff. But it's death is what it is, okay? Now, interestingly, what death is holding, this round business, is actually a mirror. It's a mirror. It's a mirror. So what's encoded in that is that when you're looking into the eyes of death, death holds up a mirror. And so what are you seeing in here? Yourself. Okay? This is you inside this. That's the meaning. That's the message. It's a mirror. You're looking at it, and that's what's being reflected. You should have shaved. Well, I take it back. You shouldn't. So that's the large message here is upon death, you look death in the face, death shows you yourself, your original face, right here. Okay, that's pretty heavy. That's not what I thought I looked like on a given day. Turns out I'm wrong. It's exactly what I look like on a given day. And it's not just me. So what is all this stuff happening here? There's a lot that's going on in here, and what I want to bring our attention to now is that it's a depiction of different realms, okay? And in the classical depiction of this, these are realms where the reincarnated person will live out a lifetime, okay? Now in Zen and certain lineages of Tibetan training, this is taught not just as post-mortem fate, but also actually states of mind. And it is that particular frame that I'm going to hold up with the most clarity today, but I wouldn't quickly discount the other as well. Now, one of the characteristics of these realms, okay, it's important to kind of take in a little bit, that unlike the Western theistic, not Western, really the desert Middle Eastern tradition, theistic view from Zoroastrian, Judeo-Christian, Islamic, that whole thing, there's kind of a permanent fixed self that is in relation or not with a permanent fixed all good God and an all evil enemy, and there's this polarity there, and your post-mortem eternal existence hangs in the balance of you behaving yourself according to whoever's in charge at the moment and how they interpret the scripture, okay? So a very different thing here, a couple of important points to understand. Firstly, each of these realms is impermanent. There's a heaven, there's a hell, I'll describe this for us in a little bit, but none of these realms are like a permanent spot. Okay, there's a constant movement from one realm to the next. It's constantly changing. Okay, there is no permanent square that you land on in this board game. Okay, the deck is consistently and constantly shuffling. Okay. Now this is important to understand. I mean, if you think of it again through the frame of a given day's mental landscape, you'll go through many, many different states of mind, right? You'll feel neutral, you'll feel positive, you'll feel negative with different gradations. And one of the qualities or characteristics of these states of mind to the uninstructed, to the untrained, to the unpracticed, is that when you're in that state of mind, it seems to you, you take it for granted that that's a permanent thing. So when you're depressed, it feels to you like you will always be depressed and there's going to be no end to this, right? When you stub your toe and you're in pain, pain fills the universe, and as far as you can perceive at that moment, it will be unending, okay? You don't think it through like that, but that's the experience. If you watch deeply what goes on, that's kind of the default setting, okay? We assume all these states are fixed. And of course, they're not, okay? If you call to mind the most difficult state you've ever been in, we'll note that hopefully you're not in that state like in this moment. Where'd it go? Well, it's also true for the pleasurable states as well. We've all had better days. We've had good moments. We've had great feelings. Where did they go? Right? When you're in the middle of that, you feel like that's going to be there forever. Guess what? Not so. Okay? So one of the things that we see here, we've got death, and we've got a mirror that's showing us ourselves. And inside that mirror, the dominant feature really is these different realms of experience that we find ourselves. And it's important to understand that these are experienced as not fixed. You experience them, but they're not permanent, okay? There are causes and effects that play out. And when the causes at hand have run their course, then the effect also runs its course, which becomes the cause for a next effect. So there's this kind of it's like if you take an arrow and shoot it up, it's got momentum that's driving it, and when that momentum gives out, gravity holds sway, and then the thing goes down again. Not because Buddha is up there like grabbing it and making it do this, but simply cause and effect, okay? So again, in the Western theistic traditions, mind you, I'm not talking about the mystics. It's a completely different conversation, okay? But just your sort of garden variety take on things, okay? There's a fixed, permanent reward or punishment by a permanent entity of a permanent soul. Here is something very different happening, but there is death and heaven and hell, and I've done a bunch of other stuff too. So one has to approach this without kind of bringing whatever other baggage one might have and kind of glomming it on top of there, okay? You want to try to understand it in its own terms, and then make of it what you will. If something's useful in it, take it. What causes matter in the tradition? Body, speech, and heart-mind, okay? Things that you physically do, we said this together in our liturgy today, causes karma, okay? If you physically do something, that's a cause that will have an effect. It's just gravity, you know? If I hold this and let it go, it drops, cause and effect. There's nothing personal going on here, okay? It's just math in a way, right? So things that you do are a cause that generates an effect, clear enough. Speech, words, what you say to others and also significantly to yourself, dear one. Okay, don't overlook that part, okay? Then the frame with which you decide, and it is a choice, to view the world is your reality, and you are sovereign. No one has capacity to alter that. If you choose to, you can look around this room right now and find very dark corners. Yes, you can. Like if you look underneath, like look at like where the Zafus meet the floor, there's darkness there, right? Well, there's darkness in the corner over here, and maybe up in that corner it's a little dark. And you can look around and you can find evidence of the darkness everywhere you look, because if you decide, you are the master. That is what you will see, okay? Oh, shit. Wait a minute. That means that what you see actually isn't dependent on where you are. It depends on how you're looking. Oh, wait a minute now. That means no one's doing this to you, but there is karma. Oh, yeah, there is. Why is it that a person may be obsessed with the dark corners of things? Karma, baby. Cause and effect, and that stuff is real. I'm not saying it's true, but it's real. So one of the things the Buddha taught is to critically examine the way you see the world, the way you see yourself, okay? Not just the things you do, but the language that you use to narrate your day. And I'm serious about that. The Lankavatara also speaks very clearly. Form, appearance, discrimination. Discrimination is language comes out. With your language, you create your world. And no one can spare you from that. If Buddha showed up right now and said, hey dudes, and was hanging out, he couldn't like whomp sense in your head. It doesn't work like that. If you took the entire lineage of awakened, ascended masters and they all came and hung out, they could like give you a hug and give you some encouragement, drop some dharma down, but you have to do the thing. It's one of the interesting things about this tradition. Buddha is not a shepherd of sheep going to save you. No. You're actually a dragon. You have to realize that fact, though. You have to see this. You have to take custody of mastery of your own mind, your own experience. You see. So death is showing you this very clearly. Luckily for all of us, we're seeing it now, and as far as we know, we're not dying right this instant in a fast way. We're all dying in a slow way. And lastly, before I get into the realm stuff, a thing to point out is that there is no moral judgment here. And that's a little bit of a mind turn, we'll say, for folks, okay? Yama is not judging anything. It's just a mirror. It's just a mirror, okay? That's all it is. There's not a sorting hat that decides. Yama is not a cosmic sort of like account taker and judge. Your heart is not weighed against a feather, okay? It's simply cause and effect. And what cause and what effect? How you see yourself, how you see the world. This is the great driver, okay? So not a moral judgment. In fact, one of the ironic things, one of the things that's very, very counterintuitive about this, the heaven realm is no better than the hell realm. It is not. From the perspective of awakening, basically no difference. One's a little more pleasant, but same trap. How can it be so? Well, let's consider. the heaven realm is up here, the hell realm is down here, okay? And within this, something like Dante, I suppose, there are levels to these things. And I'm going to keep it very simple for now and say that the lowest level of hell, and again, mind you, I'm talking about a mental state that you've been in this lifetime many times and probably will be again, okay? But the lowest image, the image of the lowest, bottomest, worstest, ickiest part of hell is cold. It's frozen. And it is an image of a state of mind wherein you're just completely contracted and you can't move, okay? It's just utter depression, you could say, the state of mind where everything seems like, you know, you're the one in that ridiculously expensive sub being where you shouldn't be and the cracked and the ocean just went, that's you. You feel like that. Everything's just crushing you, okay? Can you relate to this feeling? Anybody felt that? Okay, so that's a state. Note that you're not in that state in this moment. Okay, you've been there, you're not there. It comes, it goes. But that is a real state. Is it true? That's a different question. But it's real. For you, if you put yourself there. Now, interestingly, the very tippy top of the heaven realm is kind of like an analog. It's like if you fold it over, they just kind of match, okay? The tippy top heaven realm, and this might be difficult for us to get at a first hearing, but the highest heaven realm is called the formless. It's a space of vast emptiness where inconceivably long timelines of formlessness exist. It is said that entities in this space can live for countless long kalpas, okay, ages of universes, and it's a formless space. There's just the thinnest, barest wisp of consciousness. It's something close to like when you're in a really deep sleep with no dream. It's like this, okay? What's the difference between that and the frozen hell? Not so much if you interrogate it deeply. Huh. Well, let's continue. If we go up in the hell, not the lowest realm, and again, these are states of mind, the further up the levels of hell you go, the more action there is. Okay, so the hell becomes hot. So now a demon in this space is not a frozen, compacted mind. This is, you are pissed. You're the Balrog with the whip going, rah, and you're flailing away at stuff, okay? And it's different than from the frozen hell, right? You're active, you're doing stuff, you're raging. Anybody been there? They're subtle and coarse, but it's active. In fact, it's an improvement, so to speak, because now there's something, at least there's some movement now, okay? There's some discharging that's going on. Again, impermanent. Well, if we toggle up top to the heaven realms, just under the formless is a kind of heaven that's more pleasure-oriented. Yes. This hotter hell is anger, violence, okay? This heaven realm is pleasure, sex. Oh, interesting. And it goes coarse to subtle, okay? So the more subtle pleasures in the higher realms become more and more refined, more and more subtle. The lesser heaven realms are more and more coarse, more physical, let's say, okay, just pleasurable. But here's the thing, okay? If you interrogate your mind carefully, when you've lost it and you're just angry, okay, in that moment, the heat of that anger is the only thing you're aware of, okay? That heat, that anger, that hatred really pervades everything. And I won't get graphic, but when you think about an intensely pleasurable experience, same. That intense pleasure takes everything, okay? Right? Kind of interesting. Kind of interesting. Kind of telling, really. Because what's happening in these heaven realms is that you're not noticing anybody else suffering when you're in that pleasurable experience. You're just taken up in your own pleasure. And when you're down here, you're not thinking about anybody else either. You're just taken up by your hate, your violence. So again, how different are they really? I mean, you know, one makes for a slightly more enjoyable day, but really? I don't think so. Again, if you fold these down, the formless heaven and the frozen hell really meet, okay? And if you back up a little bit and collapse those, this pleasurable heaven and this angry violence, hell realm, they kind of meet too. Kind of interesting. Well, that's not all that there is. There are further realms, okay? Here, and I appreciate you probably can't see, but I invite you to come take a look after the service today. And again, it hangs out by the shoes. So, yeah. That's why no one ever steals shoes here. But here you have this realm, okay, the heaven realm is here. This is like warring titans. It's called the Asuras. That's the technical term. Okay? And interestingly, there's a tree that branches between, okay? And it is said that in this realm, you have these very, very powerful Titan-like folk, okay? Entities, beings, really. And that they contest with one another to get to the tree, to get the ambrosia of that tree so that they can ascend to godhood. So these are the achievers, okay? They're the goal setters, they're the doers, they're the shakers and the movers. They're gonna make it happen. Check me out, I'm gonna be a billionaire, at least a millionaire for God's sake, or whatever. Or I'm gonna be the best at, I don't know, pick your area of endeavor, okay? Whatever it is. These folk contest with each other, and of course the trap here is they never get it. I always think of like these Avenger movies where you've got the spider fellow and the thorn guy, and you know, they contest and they're all fighting with each other and they all have superpowers, but they just constantly, you know, the Hulk gets smashed and then it doesn't work, and then the Iron Fellow doesn't get it either, and they all keep knocking each other off the hill. No one ever gets it. That's you. That's you. And our culture tends to really prize that one as a virtue. Win friends, influence people, think, grow rich, etc. Okay? We celebrate this winning bigly. That's our thing. We're into that. But interestingly, again, if you look at the diagonal, there's a realm that seems like a complete opposite, but I interrogate it further. This now hungry ghost realm. Hungry ghost, what is this? This is an entity that has a very, very thin neck, huge big eyes and big mouth, and a huge empty stomach. The thin little pencil-thin neck, nothing can come down, can't take in any nutrition, but ravenous hunger. The classic image that I can point to from our culture is Gollum from the Tolkien's writing, obsessed with the precious ring, right? That addiction, obsession, compulsion, obviously over an evil thing or a difficult thing. But how different is it really from that warring Titan mind? Is not so different. Is really not so different. Both of these minds are driven for something external to validate or fill a hole, fill a gap. The warring Titan person needs to ascend to God level. The hungry ghost's obsession is more, carnal or more modest or more banal, but it's the same mind, this unending thirst. Do you know that state? Huh? I do. Oh, I know it very well. I know both of them very well. Do you? See, here's the thing, okay? This is you. Know it or not. Accept it or not. Gravity is there whether you believe in it or not. Gravity doesn't care. okay? The Dharma is like, in this sense, doesn't care. This quality of mind is suffering. Whether you're the great achiever with the trillion-dollar suit or you're the addict on the street looking for another fix, same mind, different expression. Well, what about this diagonal? Down here you have the animal realm. Okay. Animal, physical body, instinctual awareness. At least in the way the tradition uses the imagery for us. Okay. Physical embodiment in this world, instinctual, living by instinct. There's no freedom in that zone. It's stimulus response, stimulus response, stimulus response. The kitty and the little laser pointer, there's just no option there for the cat not to do the thing. Instinct will do the thing. Free will, no. Now, of course, we know in modern times there are certain animals that have evolved a much more evolved cortex, and we think maybe have some sense of self and humor even, and so this analogy falls a little short when you put it under that scrutiny, but just take it as what it's saying. There's a frame of mind that you inhabit, that I inhabit at times, that's just rut instinct. And it is suffering. Okay? And the human realm, oh, it could be. The human realm, okay, is where we are. And again, if you fold these over, they touch, I'd say. Okay? Physical body. I got plenty of instincts. Do you? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I do. So what's so different? Here's what's different. Okay, this is important. Okay, so check this out. Okay, the animal instinct body has no dualistic mind. So my pug, I love my pug. Pug is my spirit animal. Okay. Dizzy, my pug, has no sense of separateness from anything. Feelings, experiences, moods, instinct, non-dual mind the whole time. The tree has a non-dual mind. The tree doesn't sense itself as separate from anything. Birds and so on. Again, simple analogy. Cuttlefish? Maybe. I don't know. There's some science around there. It's pretty interesting, really. But we'll just keep it simple. Leave the bonobos aside. Okay, think about vertebrae, mollusks. But you, as a human, you have the noble gift of dualistic mind. Congratulations. What? Is it dualistic mind like the icky thing we're trying to get rid of? Well, what we want to do is we want to transcend that dualistic mind, but listen, it's a noble gift, and here's why, okay? The dualistic mind is the necessary prerequisite to enlightenment. It's the necessary precondition to awakening. Because you're born, okay, we develop in certain ways. As the infant grows, there's some coming online of a sense of I, thou, and this develops over time, okay? When you're a cell that splits and starts dividing, there's no sense of self yet, okay? Many animals, we say, stay there, let's say. Okay, you, lucky you have evolved, evolution has occurred such that you have a much more evolved brain, cortex and so on, right? And what that enables you to do, you lucky person, it enables you to feel completely separate and isolated from everything. Congratulations. You can look around the world and see me, you. here's what's interesting about that. Because that's there, you have the capacity to see through it, okay? Because you experience yourself in this dualistic way, you have the ability, the Buddha teaches, to actually see non-dual mind. The pug can't do that because he's never been outside it. Expresses it perfectly, cannot realize it. Okay? Realization. Realizing your true nature. It means seeing it, perceiving it, actualizing it. That means you have to stand from a false place, frankly, of not seeing it so that you can then awaken to it. And then ironically, you see that the dualistic mind is it too. How crazy is that? But that's the case. That's why the human realm is the ideal. In this tradition, you don't want to go to heaven. It's not a good deal. It's not, because whatever good karma got you there, you're going to burn all the pleasure of it out, coarse, subtle, or formless, doesn't matter. Eventually, that karma is going to burn out, and guess what? You fold right down to the other one and start over. Okay. So mindfulness, is not just non-judgmental awareness of the present moment. I'm sorry. That's lovely, but that's not enough. I'll conclude with this, okay? The teaching is very important on this and very clear. As you move through these different mental states, and you do, all you have to do is be aware of it, okay? When a hungry ghost feeling comes around, you should know a hungry ghost feeling is rising. When a pleasure God realm experience is occurring, you don't have to push it away or anything, but just you should know that a God realm experience is happening, rising in mind. When anger starts to exert its influence, you should know a feeling of anger is rising now in mind. If you can practice this way, if you can know when you're walking that you're walking, if you can know when you're sitting that you're sitting, if you can know when you're laughing, and when you're crying, and when you're in these realms, you're awake to the realm that you're in, you are like 80% there, okay? There's more to do. That's critical. But if you can't be awake to your experience as it's occurring, I can't help you. No one can. You're just getting yanked around here helplessly, chasing pleasure, avoiding pain, or depending how you're wired, the inversion, whatever. Doesn't matter. It's just this unending roller coaster. The way off is in. Go right in to what you're experiencing and be awake to it. This is why Zazen is so central, okay? You have got to give yourself the gift of sitting still. And I really, really beg you, please do this. Sit, okay? You've got to sit and let your mind settle into your body. This is a yogic tantric thing. It's a physically embodied realization. You're not going to think your way through it up here in the intellectual space. It's not going to happen. Everything I've done today is only useful if it gets you to sit. And what's happening when you're sitting? You're developing concentration, your ability to actually watch what your mind is doing and see it in real time. You can get really good at this, faster than you might suspect, actually. You can get very, very good at noticing what's happening and not clinging to it or pushing it away. You can get really good at simply noticing what is so and letting it go. See it, acknowledge it, let it go. Don't cling. Let it be. Allow it, yeah? And you, meanwhile, in your nobility and your dignity and your royal ease, be noble. Be still, be present. Let your mind become the mirror that is clear. Let all these ripples settle, and they will, and they can, and they do. And that mirror becomes clear and bright and luminous. That's really your true face, that luminous, beautiful, bright you. You know it's there. Don't let these ripples deceive you, especially the ones that you like, the ones that you've wrapped some kind of identity around. Many here anyway will know I'm a jazz musician. I'm not a jazz musician though. It's not an identity. It's not a trap. It's simply a thing that it's a way I express my awakening. And I play in that realm. That's a God realm. It's a subtle one. It's very pleasurable for me. And I know exactly what's happening. I'm not stuck there. I've known really, really great musicians who are horribly trapped in that realm. Horribly. Daily life can never compete with the subtle pleasure of that. And you can see it when you look at their life. It's not necessary. But that's mine. You. You are the master. You are the main character in your adventure. Everyone else is supporting cast at best. So I invite you to take it up. Really, this ongo period, this intensive training period, please sit every day. Really, please. I'm really begging you, please sit. The world is fiery right now. I know we all have noticed. Okay? You sitting still and doing calm abiding and single one-pointed awareness is one pixel of coolness in this vast tapestry of chaos. And that pixel matters, damn it. So let all of us take this up sincerely. Let's all practice. Simply pay attention to what's arising. Don't waste your precious life trying to stack the deck to the realm you prefer. It's a fool's game. Instead, realize right now, this moment is exactly it. How to do this? Well, go to beginning instruction if you haven't. Learn how to sit. If you know how to sit, do it. And enjoy it. For the sake of all beings throughout space and time, may we come to complete awakening. May it be so.
It be so.